Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to solve one of the classic LeetCode problems, the longest consecutive sequence. First, we are going to start with brute force, looking for how can we solve this in a most intuitive way. And after that, we will go with the ON solution, that is actually what is this problem demanding. If you want the answer for the problem, here it is. I already put it at the beginning in case you don't want to see the video until the end. If you want to see how I'm going to solve this, my thought, what I'm going through step by step, please stay and I will try to do my best to explain both ways to solve this. Okay? So let's do it. Okay, let's start by reading the problem. Given an array of integers, return the length of the longest consecutive sequence of elements that can be formed. What is a consecutive sequence? It's a sequence of elements which each element is exactly one greater than the previous element. The elements do not have to be consecutive in the original array. You must write an algorithm that runs in O(n) time. First of all, let's try to do it by brute force. But before we start coding, as we mentioned in the last videos, the first thing that you need to do is try to think how you are going to solve this. So in my mind, what I'm thinking right now is, okay, I will try to have all the elements of the array, and the first thing that occurs to me is, what if I sort this array? The array is like this one, like 2, 20. What if I sort it? If I sort it, it will be like 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, and 20. Okay, now I have something because I have a sequence. And I only have to, if I am the position n, if the number in the position n plus 1 is equal to the number plus 1, I consider as a sequence, you know? You think what I'm thinking? And what if the array have repetitive items? For example, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I take the n plus 1 element, it will be exactly the same as the n element. So that will give us an error. So we need to think about that case as well. So first of all, let's write all this down so we do not forget. Okay, the first thing I will do, this is the brute force approach. Okay, the brute force approach. What will I do? I will sort my array. This will be my first step. When I have my array sorted, I need to remove duplicate. How can I remove duplicate? We saw that in the first video. To remove duplicate, we transform everything into a set and then go back to a list. So I have to remove duplicates. That will be my second step. And then I need to check if the array is empty, because what if the array is empty? I will be comparing with nothing. So we need to check if the array is empty. In case it's empty or true, for example, we will return 0. The length will be 0. Okay, great. And then we will create a loop our array, and if the element in the position n is equal to the element in the position n plus 1, I will increment a counter, and this counter will be how many elements are in that sequence. Count plus equal 1. Okay, that will be my algorithm in step by step. Now, how can we actually program this algorithm step by step? Okay, the first thing I will try to do is convert, let's say, convert my nums into a set. That will be my first thing. Once I have converted my num into a set, I will sort it. Sorted nums set, for instance. When I have this sorted, I will need to check if the num is. I probably can do this first, and I will save time. Maybe I will do it first. In case it's empty, I will return 0. Okay, if not empty, I will try to start my for loop to count how many items, how many sequence do I have, and how long this sequence is. So I need, for instance, I need a counter, for example, longest, that it will be 1, for example. Why it should be 1? Because if it's 0, we already return here, so I will start in 1. This longest will be the longest subsequence that I found. It will be 1. And I also need the subsequence. The subsequence, I will start it also in 1. Now I will start my for loop from n to, and I'm going through this loop, and if the element in the position n is equal to the element in the position n plus 1 plus 1, it means that I'm in the subsequence, okay? So I need to increase my sub count. If n is equal n plus 1 plus 1, I will probably say, for example, num set plus 1. If this is the case, I will increase plus equal 1. And if that's not the case, I will restart subcount to 1. If not, subcount equal 1. If not, subcount equal 1. And finally, my longest will be the max between my actual longest and subcount, and return longest. So this will be how my code will be for this brute force approach. Okay, first I need to convert into set, then I will sort it, then I will check if my array is empty. If it's empty, I will return 0. If not, I will do my for loop to compare my n element with the n plus 1 element. If it's the same, I will say I will increase my counter, and if it's not, I will reset my counter to 1, and at the end I will keep the longest subsequence that I found. Let's try to convert this into code. Now that we have this pseudocode, it will be way much easier. For example, the first thing I mentioned was to convert this into a set and sort it. So these two steps I can do it in one line. It will be easier. I will be say num set. It will be equal to list set my nums array, and then I will sort this. So sorted, and this will be my array with unique items and sorted. So now we have this. Now we have to check if num set equal 0, return 0, and here is the length of this. So if we don't have any elements, if it's 0, we return 0. Now we have that. These two I will only uncomment. It's not uncomment like that. I will uncomment those two, and I will start with my for loop. My for loop is for loop that have to go from n to the length of the num. But remember, the length will give me how many items are inside that array, and the index on the array go from 0 to the length minus 1. So we need to make our for loop like 4. Let's say n in range len num set minus 1. Now I'm going through every element of this array. I will say if my num set on the position n, because here I'm going through n 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If my num set in the position n is equal in the position n plus 1 actually is if num set in the position n plus 1 minus 1, because the next it will be minus 1 to be the previous one. Or I can say plus 1 here, and remove this minus 1 here. Is actually the same. If this is the case, I will say that my sub count it will be plus equal 1. In case it's not the same, I will say that my sub count is equal to 1, because I need to reset for the next subsequent that may appear. Okay, here I'm here right now in this step. Okay, let's remove this. By the end of this cycle, I will say, for example, if my longest will be the max from my previous longest and sub count. Okay, now we have that, and finally I need to return the longest subsequent that I found, and I think this is it. Let me check. Okay, I think this is it. Let's run it. We have an error. Oh, numset is not defined. It's numset. Sorry about that. My typos. Numset. Let's run it, and it passed the test. Let's submit it to see the rest of the test. And congratulations, you passed. But if you look carefully, you will see that this is not the right answer because they are actually demanding that we do this in ON time. And this algorithm, this sort algorithm, is actually n log n time. So here we are not actually complying with this restriction that we have here. How can we solve this problem in ON time? Okay, let's try to remove all of this and start over. Remove all of this and start over. How can we do this now with only one for loop and we don't have to do anything more than that? So the first thing that we could do is first convert the array into a set so we don't have repetitive numbers, and it will be faster to go through our for loop. It will be set nums. Okay, now we have our num is a set. We need a variable that will be our longest substring, exactly at the last one. We need to check nums, if length of nums. If length of nums is equal to 0, we just return 0. And if not, we're going to go through every element in our list. How can we do this? We just say for n in nums. Now here, every time, different than the last one that we do in range, here n is not a consecutive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so on. Here n in every iteration is one number, one actual number from the nums array. So now we have in n, we have saved the number of this nums array. So we will say, for example, our current max string, it will be, let's start with, 0, because it's our current length of the max substring. And we will say the following. While n, okay, I want to say something like while the n plus 1 element of my array. Okay, here I want to say something like while the next number, my next consecutive number is inside my array, I will try to increase the current, So I can say, okay, the current length is 1, then the current length is 2, and so on. So I want to say if n plus current in nums, I will say current plus equal 1. What I'm saying here, okay, imagine n is 1 and 2 is actually in the array. You will say it will increase 1. So the next time I will ask again, okay, 1 plus 2. So I will ask if 3 is in the array. If 3 is in the array, okay, it's correct. I will increase 1 here. Okay, I will say 1 plus 3 is 4. If 4 is in the array, I will increase. So this is working correctly. This is working the way I want it. So if this is correct, I will say my longest will be equal, exactly the same, max, between the longest and current, and I will return the longest. This is actually more easy than the brute force itself, but it's less intuitive. So I think, let me check, this is the correct solution. Let's try it. Let's run it. It works. Let's submit it. And congratulations, you passed. And this is in ON. So this is my solution for this problem. I hope you enjoy it. And if you have like a better solution, please let me know. I'm open to try new things in this. And thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye.